All right, welcome to episode 34 of the More Doors podcast, which, as you can see, today is already off to a different start. I am not Nick Good or any of the guys from Deep Blue Capital. So that's because today is a wife takeover. We're going to talk about the ins and outs, the goods, the bad, the ugly of what it's like to be with these guys that run this company and this podcast too. So we've got episode 34 coming at you right now. All right, welcome back to episode 34 of the More Doors podcast, which today's episode is the wife takeover. We have taken over the studio. So before we get started, I want to take a second to give a shout out to the reason we're here today, which first of all is over to our three favorite guys at Deep Blue Capital. Reach out for all of your real estate investing, your multifamily investing needs at deepbluere.com. And then, of course, a shout out to the wonderful Jesse Showalter over at Tour Studios, who has done all the magic today, the lighting, the things to make us feel at home in here. So reach out to Jesse over at tourstudios.com. So let's just dive right in, episode 34. So hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. So we've got, my name is Heather Good. I am the wife of Nick Good, the better half of Nick Good, whatever you want to say. And I'm here to take it over the chair today. So, yeah, we've got Leidy Force and Vanessa Cantu here as well. I'll pass it on over.
Yes. Hello. I am Leidy Force. I am the wife of Brian Force, and I am what is my title? I don't know. Director of Operations. I don't really know what my title is.
Director of Chaos.
Director of Chaos for Livia and DFW.
Hi, I am Vanessa Cantu. I am Matt Buchowski's fiance. We started wedding planning. Very excited and stressed, and it's expensive, of course. Anyways, I am a residential real estate agent here in Collin County, McKinney. I'm at the Coldwell Banker in McKinney.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm Heather Good. So besides being Nick's wife, I am an escrow officer at Lawyers Title in Plano. We've got 3 kids. We juggle that. Also am the behind the scenes of pretty much all things, we'll call it good industries, whatever. So running the brains behind some of these things every day. So, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the ins and outs and the good and the bad and all the
dirt.
things, the dirt. Yeah, the tea. We're going to spill the tea on these 3. So really to start off, I mean, we just kind of, what's it like being these guys? What's daily life like, right? Like it's, I know a little bit different for all of us. We all have different dynamics with our marriages, our families, our careers, all these things, while also it's all very intertwined too, which is
Well, we're all in the real estate business so, it's all, like you said, intertwined. Matt has 2 kids. I have 1 daughter. So together we've got three kids, 11, 10, and 5. So they keep us very busy. So our life is work, real estate, and kid, bath, homework.
It's a lot.
Cooking. Thank God Matt's an amazing chef. Oh, what would I do without him? I think in his past life, he was like some kind of, I don't know, Bobby Flay back in the day or something. He's amazing. But yeah, that's our life is balancing real estate and work and kids and trying to keep staying sane and also trying to find time to also me and him time. So we don't have an hours baby, which we were just talking about that before the podcast. We are not planning on having an hours baby, and we're okay with that.
Don't worry, Matt.
So we do have time to ourselves, and but honestly, like we both really love our jobs. So honestly, we still, even though we have definitely more time than average people for our time, we still have to make sure that it's intentional because we both love to work.
Yeah.
Like he's actually much better than I am at like putting it aside when he gets home. But sometimes let me just send this email. Let me just send that. Yeah. And he's actually much better at that. How are y'all guys with that, with work-life balance?
So, okay, Brian and I have 2 dog children. We do not have human children. We have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. That's Handsome and Vivi. Vivi, the oldest, is currently in diapers. She's very old.
Backwards.
Yeah, she's very old, and she suffers incontinence and the likes. And so it's hard because you have to. I mean, I work from home, which is very nice, but one of the reasons I work from home is to monitor her and ensure that she's being let out throughout the day and meeting her needs. Otherwise, we'll come home and she's kind of gone everywhere. And that's hard. Yeah, that's hard to do when you've had a long day. And, you know, the last thing you want to come home is to a big giant pile of pee and you have to clean it up. It's not great. It's not great. I mean, poor baby, right? It's not her fault. She's just too old. And Handsome, he's just a handful. He's very loving, awesome kid. Our lives feel like I feel like our days are always on fire, even though we don't have kids.
I feel that to my core.
Yes, it's just like we wake up and the world is on fire. There's fires to be put out. There's stuff falling apart. You know, lots of things going wrong. So it can be very stressful. And Brian does a really great job of just keeping a positive outlook on everything, which I can honestly say I'm guilty of not always being as positive as he is, but we work really well together with, you know, dividing up, just kind of dividing and conquering, to just better to feel accomplished in our days, because that poor man, I feel like the work will just never end. There's always something for him to do, and
It's like never that being caught up moment.
Yeah,
ever.
exactly. I don't know that he knows what it feels like to be caught up.
Yeah.
Like on a day's work. Like
and honestly, I think to them, and really, I kind of feel the same way. As much as I'm like, man, maybe things will calm down a little, or I'd love to catch up on this, which we never are. But then I'm like, what happens when we are? I feel like we're gonna feel like something's missing, right? Like, what's happening? And Nick, who would be the more negative of us, would be like, something's wrong. Oh my God, the shit's hit the fan. Something's gonna happen.
Something.
Yeah, you know. So I don't know what the caught up feeling is, and I think with especially with these guys and with an entrepreneur in general, like you don't. That's not something you get, and it's almost like if you do, you're like, that's not good, right?
I mean, and at what point do you guys ever feel like it's almost, and I don't mean this in like a negative way, but almost like an addiction? You know, like like they're addicted to the grind and to going.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
hustle.
for me,
They love it.
For me, I can't say that I'm addicted to working all the time. I was at one point, and it did not end well. It was awful. I had a terrible burnout. And so now, you know, learning how to set boundaries, like, okay, at 5 o'clock, I'm done. Unless something is really falling apart, the world's on fire, or something is terrible is happening, I try to check out at 5 p.m. But with Brian, that man will just go. I mean, anytime we have free time, I'm like, hey, I want to go spend, you know, Saturday with my family. Do we have anything going on? He's like, no. He's like, I could get caught up on some things. So yeah, you go do your thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? Do you not want to, like, you don't want to go spend time with your friends or, you know, do something? I don't know.
It's like I do with my friends and my business partners.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Because it's, you know, you want to know what makes me excited is making money. So that's kind of it. So I get it. My husband's the exact same. So for us, our day life, we've got 3 kids, and they are 17, 7, and 2. So we have all the kids,
all the
stages of life, which is a lot in itself, on top of juggling my own career. And then, you know, my second job is, you know, I'm supposed to do all this stuff, all Nick's things in the background at night, which means it's a lot. You know, and so our daily life, you know, work-life balance is our struggle, 1,000%. It's usually one of us is really on one thing and one's on the other, and it can be a lot. It is a daily thing we work on. We've certainly not perfected it. I'm probably not even close, but I don't know what that looks like either. Maybe it's the same thing. Like, is it ever going to be just right? And I think for us, especially with the businesses and careers and these things that we're doing, and then having the 3 kids, we'll say sprinkled in there, right? Everything's changing all the time. Like, there's never okay, we just got our schedules for XYZ. We're good. Here's our schedule. Like, I just loaded up both of our calendars yesterday with 8,000 things for Asher, right? And I'm like, Cool. So that's for 8 weeks, and then it's all going to change again. Right?
I've been to Heather's house, and I've seen her marker calendar. Dear Lord,
Everyone has a different color.
there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot on there. It's quite full.
Is it gigantic?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a whole wall. Like it's
Okay, I try to convince Matt to do. He has a wall that is opposite of the kitchen. You guys have been to our house, and it's got all of our. It's cute. It's got all of our kids' art stuff, and I really wanted him to get rid of all the kids' stuff and do one of those gigantic chalkboard calendars.
Have you seen the big acrylic ones? They're real pretty.
I want one of those so bad, but instead he got this other big. Can we cuss on this?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Yes.
It's called the big ass calendar.
Yep. I've seen those.
Yes.
They're huge.
Yes, it is big. So I was like, okay. So we haven't filled it out yet, but we need to, because calendars are everything. Oh my God. I don't know why we only recently just started sharing our calendar, because that is a game changer. Honestly, even if
we've been together for 10 years and we haven't done that,
Are you serious? Yeah. You need to do it.
More like
you need to do
just
it.
like put invites on each other's calendar, and Nick will be like, well, this wasn't on my calendar. I'm like, put it on there. Like, I can't always be the calendar person, the keeper.
Yeah.
I also am kind of old school, and like I like to write things down.
Like
there's
in a
something with
planner?
writing it puts it in my head. Yeah. So I used to always keep a planner. I haven't anymore, because Nick would be like, just put it in your phone. And I'm like, well, I mean, I will. I'll put it there too. But he's like, this is so stupid. Like, you're doing
Your
this 3
file of
times.
facts from 19.
Yeah. I'm like, hold on, let me
Get my Rolodex.
Yeah. So we've gotten better about that, but now a shared calendar probably would be a
You
game
should
changer
do it.
for us.
It's very helpful. Brian and I share our work calendars, and anytime I need something and I call him and he doesn't pick up, I'm like, what could he possibly be doing that he cannot take my phone call right now?
Nick
and I
also
jump
keeps
on the
a very
calendar.
messy calendar, though.
No, Brian is like, whatever is on his calendar
Like, it's
is what
blocked. There's no
it's what
overlap.
he's doing. Yeah, there's no overlap. So whatever's on his
terrible.
calendar,
It's a mess.
Is what he's doing. So then I jump on there. I'm like, why is he not picking up? And I'm like, oh, because he's in the middle of a podcast. Okay, cool. Well, I'll forgive this one. So
See, I thought I could see. So we have a shared calendar, and I actually put like all my stuff on there. Like, even honestly, work stuff that doesn't really pertain to him, I'll put on there. And the other day I went to go check to see what he was up to, because honestly, I actually thought about, it was kind of a rough week, and I wanted to, thought about dropping by the office to see how he was doing, but I didn't want to, stop by if he was in the middle of a Zoom. And I realized that I can't see his work calendar. So I gotta call him about that, because I was like, I want to, because you can, like you said, right? You're like, well, why isn't he answering? He doesn't have a call right now.
yeah.
So I didn't realize that I couldn't see his work one. I'm like, that's not fair. You can see mine. So
Matt,
we got to fix that.
You have some homework.
I want to do cute stuff. If I'm nearby in the neighborhood, I want to be able to stop by his office, and because his office, he works at Roll Page, and it's like I dropped by one time, and it's like legit. Like, I was all excited. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like walk up and like tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, surprise. There's like it's like this gigantic building. It's like a security guard.
3 security check-ins to get here.
Basically. And then they were like, we'll let him know. I'm like, wait, right? I'm like, no. Like, let me go up. They're like, no. I'm like, really? So it's like legit serious. And he had to come down, and I'm like, I had this pictured so much cuter in my head of how I'm going to surprise you. Right?
Lunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and no, it was like, ma'am, show me your credentials.
That's
Sit
hard,
right
like,
there. He'll come down. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Credentials.
Yeah. I
It's
know.
hard. Like at Nick's office, I don't pop by as much as I'm technically supposed to, because I work on a lot of the things. Because I know if I do, he'd be like, oh, thanks for showing up today. We haven't seen you in a while. So I'm just like, I'll just manage it from here. Plus, the last time I popped by to see him, I got us a puppy.
Oh God!
I heard about that.
You're like, I did
Kevin,
something. I did
who's
something bad.
awesome, and Nick actually likes him. Anytime Nick is sitting and Kevin's near him and he's petting him, I snap a photo just to file
Is it
away.
true that you got it without asking him?
It is.
Okay. He told Matt that. And I was like,
it's very true. I'm
well,
not proud of it.
I was like, well, is it cute? Because if it is, who
Adorable.
cares?
It's freaking great. He's
Which, of
awesome.
course, all puppies are anyways, but
Yeah.
it was just so funny. He was like, yeah. He said, Nick said he's not talking. Because I don't know. Maybe
Nick
we were
didn't
talking
talk
about
to me
this.
for 24 hours
Yes.
straight, which in the history of Nick and Heather has never, ever happened. Like, it's not, I could always be like, hey, and be fine. No, it didn't work. I was like, shit, I really did it this time. Oh, man, I really did it this time.
Should have brought Kevin up here.
I should have. Kevin actually comes to work with me all the time. He hangs out in our office all the time. So when you come for closings, Kevin will probably be there, right?
Oh my God.
People love him. He's awesome. Actually, Nick finally admitted that he's been, because our youngest, our 2-year-old Aspen, was playing with him, and they're like he's a mini, so he's like the perfect size for her. And I was like, man, they're like buddies. And he's like, yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, wait, what? So you like him?
So you
He's
like
like,
him?
no, I don't fucking like him. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, you
Okay,
do.
good.
Nick also loves dogs. So he's getting better. It was not my finest moment. I'm not typically a quick decision person. Like I process things. I like to think through it. I like to make educated decisions. And this one, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Let's do it. It was right before Christmas. I'm going to surprise the kids. Yay. And it was like 2 days before Christmas. So like Christmas Day was awkward.
It was time of joy.
Like, anytime Kevin would get near him, he wouldn't even look at them. Like the kids were starting to. I'm like, all right, I need you to like suck it up. I said, I'm sorry, I fucked up here. Like, can we just get on with it? You know,
Ruining Christmas, Nick.
yeah, don't ruin Christmas for me. I live for Christmas. Like, man. So yeah, I did. I'm not proud of it. It happens.
So speaking of conflict, how do you guys deal with these conflicts? I mean, really, what
It's hard.
what makes them tick? How do you guys communicate all these things? I mean, it's hard because they have all these businesses to run, and then they have the family, and it's a lot. It's a lot for all of them.
It's definitely a juggling act. You know, there's definitely times where we get home. So we pick the kids up together at 3. And Matt usually gets back on and goes back to his office, and he does Zoom till about at least 5. Or usually 5. Every once in a while he'll go a little bit later, or actually normally it's 5. Sometimes he'll have because that's his 9 to 5. Yeah, right. So he'll do till 5, and then sometimes he'll have something with the guys.
Yep.
Right. But normally it's just till 5. But still, that's me. You know, from 3 to 5, I'm the snack giver. I'm the TV. Turn. Like the referee if someone's in a whatever. Make sure they're doing their homework. So I just got to kind of we just got to balance it, and then same thing, on the weekends, like that's my time, I mean, he definitely has, cause sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm thinking about picking up another open house. Are you good? He's like, oh yeah, I can always find stuff to do while you're at your open house. There's always a deal to be underwritten. I can almost see the joy in his eyes, like, ooh, another
stay. You should do a 4-hour open house,
right?
He's like, just take all the time,
right? He loves it.
I feel like our gentlemen, as much as they love spending time with us, because I know they do, I think they also very much enjoy when we're away, because then I think they get guilt, right?
It lifts the guilt off, right? Like they're like, ooh, I don't have to feel guilty because I can get my work done and she's doing something she loves, so she's not, feeling neglected or anything like that. And I think that they secretly do enjoy when we're away, which is okay. I mean, we don't have to be together all hours of the day, and as long as there's good communication. I mean, I will say I very much enjoy all the time that I spend with Brian. He's very fun, and we find lots of good things to do. And he's a great cook as well. That's one of my favorite things about him, is that he always makes dinner.
What's his favorite? What's his best thing?
Chicken parm.
Ooh, really?
But it's
Matt just made chicken parm the other day.
Yeah, chicken parm, but it's like a paleo. Brian is very healthy. So no, minimal carbs, nothing fried or anything like that. But chicken parm is his favorite dish. And
you know what Nick's ever made me for dinner?
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nick cannot cook. I bet he could. Maybe not. I don't know. Our oldest, so Addie, who's 17, like when she was little, she'd be like, he makes the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh. Or like eggs. He made her scrambled eggs once. She's like, they're so good. And I'm like, okay, well, that's his claim to, if that's his claim to fame, I'll give it to him. That's fine.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little impressed on the eggs because I suck at eggs. PB&J's I can do, but the eggs, okay, Nick. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Nick.
Apparently makes a stellar scrambled egg. I don't know if he does. I don't eat eggs really, so I don't know. But he does not cook. I would say he can make a dinner reservation, but he usually doesn't. He'll be like, what's for dinner? Which is that's a daily struggle in our house. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I forgot I have to feed all of you. Okay, what does everyone want? What's everyone doing? That's a hard thing. Our schedules are nuts sometimes. We're like, okay, if I get home at X time, if I'm home by 5, I could probably throw something together. We've got to have Asher here by 5:30. Addie, who, drives, is sometimes she'll get home. She's like, "What was for dinner?" I'm like, "You weren't here, so I didn't
didn't ask
count
you.
in." Like, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Which is hard because sometimes she's like, "Oh, if we did," she'd be like, "Well, I already picked something up." Cool. You know,
I can't wait for that.
It is nice, kind
Right?
of. Like, it helps because
Yeah.
especially with us having 3 kids and many things, and our hands are all in many things outside of even just having kids. Like, logistically, it's a game changer. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about getting them to school, picking up, who's taking
Right.
it, whatever. And sometimes,
Yeah.
like, she even helps with Asher. Or like last night, you know, we all were at a dinner together, all of us at an investor, or at a dinner with a, you know, potential investor. I don't know. Anyway, like my mom was there with the kids, and about 8 o'clock, I'm like, "Hey, Addie's home. Like, you can just go. The littles are asleep." So, you know, it's kind of nice because you're like,
That is
"Oh,
nice.
I don't have to pay. I don't need a babysitter until 11
Right.
o'clock." Like, you can, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
There are definitely pluses and minuses with that. But yeah. So to boil that down, Nick is not a cook. I'm going to send him over to your household and be like, "Matt, give him a lesson."
Give him some
Dude,
Something
yeah.
with him,
Matt's got all the little toys too. He's got
The trinkets.
he does. He's got what is it? Seafood. Anybody know how to say it? There you go.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what I'm going to say.
I love to cook.
I'm like, I swear there's a D in
feel
there.
like
I don't know,
sometimes
but
I don't have time, but yeah.
Yeah, he's got that, the green egg, the grill. Like he's just, I think he's got like a China box. I don't even know what that is. I don't even think he's used it,
Wow.
but it's somewhere there. I mean, he does it all. It's insane.
I love that. Yeah, everyone, they're always like, "Oh, Nick, we're gonna grill this." I'm like, "Nick doesn't grill anything." Like, I don't.
Okay, even I grill.
You? Yeah,
I do.
I love to grill. Actually,
do.
Nick, I will say, I hate doing dishes with a passion, and he will do
Dishes.
Nice.
the cleanup and put away, which is great because I freaking hate it. So
I hate the dishes too, but I love Matt's food more than I hate the dishes.
yeah,
So you're happy to do
Yeah,
it.
so
Yeah,
I'm happy to do
like
them because
fair
I'm like,
trade.
those ribs were amazing.
like,
I
I'll
will
gladly clean up the
gladly
kitchen.
clean. Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
awesome.
it works for us.
So how do you guys kind of deal, or what are your frustrations or the pressures that come alongside with, I mean, these guys' minds work, like we've kind of already said, 24/7. Like Nick doesn't stop. There's sometimes he'll, you know, I'm like in mom mode and he'll
Right.
spout off something, right? He's like, "Hey, what about this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Hold on, like, let me finish here. Let's get on the same page. I would love to talk to you about this, but until then, like, whoa." And like he just has to say it because it's like he can't turn
Yeah.
it off. So you know, they're constantly moving. So what would be frustrations?
For Matt, for me, my frustration is he's not good at delegating. He wants to do all the things because honestly, he's one of those annoying people that is good at everything. He's good at everything.
That is
I
annoying.
still have not found anything that he's not really good at. I'm gonna find it one day. But he's good at everything. So I get it. I understand that like he wants to do everything, but also like I want to help him. You know, I want to feel like a team player. I want to, you know, I don't want him to feel like he's got to burden everything. Sometimes I think he's just used to doing everything himself because he does it right.
Yeah.
And does
I
it
get it.
well. And I think it's hard to have someone else come in that wants to help when, you know, I mean when I cook, I don't think I'm a bad cook, but let's be honest here. Is it like as good as Matt, you know? And we've talked actually about like, I'm cooking more a week than he is, or not like more than normal. But I've also told him, I'm like, babe, you also have to realize that like, if we're going to give me a few days a week to cook, there's going to be some times where we're going to pick up Chick-fil-A. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
No, I can't cook that day. Actually, I just
Nick
looked at my
hates
schedule. I
when
can
we do
totally,
that.
I can
Yeah.
totally, because he is like Brian too, and he is very, very disciplined with his diet. He meal preps every Sunday. Sometimes I let him meal prep for me. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, I can help you out, but if I'm going to help you out, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And like, there's only some, like, I like to cook too, but also like, I go down a Pinterest hole and all of a sudden like 5 hours later, I've got a recipe that's going to take me 3 hours to fix, and we're eating at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
I pinned all these recipes and then ordered it.
Right. And he's like, he's like, it doesn't have to be that hard. I'm like, I feel like it has to be because like the kids are so used to his like gourmet meals. It literally tastes like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, this could be in a restaurant. Like
That's awesome.
had way worse things than this in a restaurant and spend a lot of money. Like this is amazing. So I also think that's hard for him to like delegate to me. Like, okay, you're in charge of cooking, but then he'll be like,
But are you going to like it?
right. Like, but what are you cooking?
What are we having?
Right. And I'm like,
Did
well,
you set out the chicken?
right?
Did you prep the veggies?
Exactly.
Yet? Did you marinate everything?
Right.
Like,
but then also, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes like I'll be like, no, I got it. But then I'll be like, but I mean, if you're free and you want to cut the garlic, that would be very helpful for me. Like, he's just so much better at timing. I'm telling you, he's so good at everything that like, you know, I also have very bad ADD. So I'll be like, this will take me 10 minutes, you know, and then it's 30 minutes later, I'm still cutting the garlic. So.
Some of my frustrations with Brian at times is that I'm like, babe, you work too much. I'm feeling a little neglected. And when that happens, I mean, I understand why he works so much. I understand this for the future of the family, you know, so like, it's not like he's doing it on purpose or, you know, in a malicious way. But I just ask him, I'm like, hey, are we okay? Are we, you know, his love language is physical touch. I'm like, we haven't had a lot of physical contact in the last couple of days. Is everything okay? Like, is there anything I can help you? Oh yeah, babe, no. Well, I just have so much going on. And for me, sometimes that's my frustration is I'm like, give me some time, give me more time. Like, let's spend time together. But he's very, very good at when I speak up. You know, he listens and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, babe. I didn't realize. And, you know, he sets everything down.
Which makes sense. They get in there in the zone.
They get in the zone. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So for us, you know, the frustration is that. But we, you know, we work really well through it and we talk about it. And I think maybe on my end, I think I can be a little harsh and just inconsiderate, just not on purpose, but just it doesn't occur to me. So there's one tiny little thing that drives me really crazy about Brian, and not in a terrible way, but Brian does this thing where every room that he walks into, he turns the light on and then he just walks right out and he leaves all the lights on. And it
could never live together.
Drives me crazy. And I'm like, turn the light off, Brian.
I would die.
Turn the light off. What are you doing?
P.S. I would call his mom and be like,
yeah.
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
What did you not? Why did you not get this settled when he was? No, I'm kidding.
But you know, okay. So we talked about it.
Exactly.
No, so we actually talked about that one time. It was like it actually annoyed me to the point where it was visible. And we were in the car, and he said, "Can I just say that I think there's something wrong, and I would like for you to tell me what's wrong because it's really obvious in your face." I said, "Actually, yes. I'm glad you brought it up."
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm glad you brought it up." Why don't you ever turn the light off, Brian? Like, just turn the light off. Just turn it off. It's not that hard.
In my head, the light bulb's always on.
Yeah, and then
the light bulb's on all the time.
But then he said something to me that was kind of a game changer. He just looked at me. He said, "I hear you." He's like, and I understand what you're saying. I would like to just say, from my point of view, I've got a million things in my mind going all the time. I'm very scatterbrained. You know this about me. Just have my back and turn the light off for me. Like, why don't you just have my back? And so, and then in that moment, right? It was very eye opening because it never occurred to me that he's just distracted and he has a lot of things that he's working through, right? And so that was a good reminder for me. I'm like, he's not doing anything malicious. He's not, you know.
It's just not a thought.
It's just not a thought because it's so insignificant.
There's a whole different line of thought that's happening at the same time, and you know, flipping the switch is not it.
Yeah.
Right.
But when he said those words, I was like, wow, okay, that actually really hit home because it made me realize that I have like all these kind of unspoken expectations. And I was like, okay, this is my time where I just need to take those expectations and turn them into appreciations because for every quote unquote tiny little thing that, you know, annoys me, there's something else that he does that I just truly love about him that he does for me, right? So like turning those expectations into appreciations has been an area of improvement for me, but it has also, you know, made our marriage stronger because we talk about all the things that bother us and we're open and we're like, okay, look, we're on the same team here, right? We're on the same team. Okay, yes. Okay, great. Okay, well then how do we resolve this? Because if we're on the same team, there's no reason for us to be at odds.
Yeah.
And so that's been really, really helpful. But identifying the pressures and the stresses, I think, is it just comes with the job. There's really, there's no assigned roles like you do this and I do this. You see your partner and you're like, okay, I see that you're drowning. Let me help you. What can I do for you? Because these guys work so hard, so hard. And they do it for the good of our families, right? Like, it's not like they're out there partying with their friends or anything like that. But having those eye-opening realizations has been wonderful, really, for our marriage.
Again, and I've kind of already said it, like our struggle, and I know he would probably, we both would just talk about it until we're blue in the face, is our work-life balance. And it is constantly evolving. It's changing all the time. It's, it just depends. Like, maybe they're in capital raising mode. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're like, it just depends, So that would be, I think, for honestly both of us, our biggest struggle would just balance with all of it, because we both, wear a lot of hats, and it is very hard sometimes to be like, okay, I'm over here doing this, you're doing this. Or maybe like, hey, there's sometimes I'm like, hey, by the time we get home, and like our youngest goes to bed at 7:30, Asher, our middle, is usually in bed by 8. So I'm like, cool, we get like 2 to 3 hours. So like, I need you to like just be present for this, like as much as we can. I know things come up, it happens for both of us, but like just try a little bit, because ultimately, like that's what we have. And which is hard. There's sometimes I'll be in the middle of, mom mode and stuff, and I'm like, where the heck is Nick? I'm like, where is he? And I'll like walk in there. He's like, no, I'm on a Zoom call with the guy. It's our call. And I'm like, you didn't tell me. He just disappears into the abyss. And like, yeah. And then I'm like, where the fuck are you? And he's got that, which is frustrating. But I'm really struggling with this. Sorry. It's frustrating, but I understand it, right? I get it. I'm like, and I very much appreciate it, and whatever. But it's definitely frustrating. I'm like, cool. So can I just disappear for a minute, and you're gonna handle all the things here, which maybe not. It's not Nick's strong suit. I will say he's an incredible dad, and he shows up for everything, whether he's got an earbud in and he's listening or participating on something, but he's still present at every function. He never misses anything without, unless he absolutely has to. And even then he kind of struggles with it. He doesn't like to not be present for the kids. And, so it's hard, because for as much as there can be frustrations, like there's so much good on the other hand. And I love that our kids see him working that hard every day, and that he is willing to put in the time and the blood, sweat, tears into all of these ideas and these projects and these things. And I love that they see that, he doesn't just talk about it. It's not like, ooh, we should start a podcast. Like, they say it like they're doing it the next day. Like, it's happening. I think I can say it about all of these guys. They're builders, they're doers. Like, they don't just spit it out. Like, if one of them says it, they're like, we should do it. One runs with it, the other's going the other direction. You do this, you do that, go. And then also they're doing it. And they come back and it's like, oh, hey, Heather, we just started a new business today. I'm like,
you're like, great.
Great. I thought we said we were going to chill for a bit and just get a hold of things, But that's it. That's the nature of this lifestyle, right? Like being married to someone that is,
so driven.
They're drivers, they're builders, they're doers, right? Like it's not an option to just sit back and talk about it ever, which I really love. And especially between the three of them has been really fun to watch just things unfold, because they each bring something really great to the table. Like Nick, who is not a systems guy, right? He's not, the detail-oriented one. But you know what? Brian and Matt are. And maybe Brian or Matt is not the one that's, the networker, the connections, the outspoken, one that's not afraid to talk about whatever it is they're doing and try to make that connection. But you know what? Nick is, so like, it's been really cool to see, especially the three of these guys, like how they work, how they build, how they, just lean on each other a lot. And I love it. Like, I don't know. I love it a lot, and it's been really awesome.
Well, I mean, they're just amazing gentlemen, guys, and just as a whole. I mean, they're so inspiring, and they almost give me that little itch where I'm like, okay, they're kicking ass and they're killing it and they're crushing it. I need to be crushing it too. Like, what can I do?
For sure.
It does. It motivates you to just want to be better. I mean, Brian is such a. I don't even have the words. I mean, I know I sound like a brown noser, but man, my husband is really awesome. He's a great guy.
We're fans of Brian Force.
We're fans of Brian.
Our household is real fans of the Force family.
He's so great. I mean, he's so smart. He's so brilliant, and he's such a kind, genuine human being. And, you know, he loves taking care of his body and his mind. And so, like, those kinds of things, I'm like, holy crap, man, I could learn a thing or two from this guy. Like, he looks pretty awesome, and he's crushing it. I mean, he's amazing. And for me, I find him so inspiring. And I've always, you know, I've said this to him before. I'm like, I want to be Brian Force when I grow up, because he's just, he's amazing. He's my role model. He's the person that just really inspires me.
Honestly, I feel like we're all so lucky because there's husbands, partners out there that are into other things that don't really benefit the family, right? I don't know if I should say specific things, but we all know that the different habits and hobbies and things that might be fun for them, but honestly don't really contribute to anyone other than themselves. Yep. And we're lucky that they all are so passionate about this, and it also helps all of us. It helps the whole family. Yeah. So they love this, but it is motivating. And like Matt is so disciplined with not just real estate, but just with everything in his life. And it encourages me, you know, he's a morning person. I'm not. But he wakes up every day super early and works out. And I'm over here like, oh, are you sure you're going to go today? It's like a Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to go. And then I'm like, oh, but then later on, you know, there's a small window for me, right? I'm like, should I go? Should I not? But I'm like, oh, you know, he went, right? Like, do you want to be, I don't want to say left behind, but like, you know, they say in relationships, you either grow apart or you grow together. Right? Yeah. And like, he's growing in such a positive way. And I know it's good for me, and it's obviously good for him. And I don't want to be, I don't want to be left behind.
It's almost, you know,
like I want to also work out.
Right? Like if that's like, if he can fit in all these things in the day and manage to do all these things, right, and do them well, then how can I not? Why can't I? Like, why shouldn't I? You know? So I mean, that's.
Have I ever told you the story about the cleaning lady?
No.
Okay, so when we first started dating, so I now live with Matt, but before, obviously, he had his own house, and it's like 3,900 square feet, I think. It's a big house. And, you know, he has 2 kids. He cooks for them every night. He has a full-time job. He has this, you know, investment company. And I'd come over when we were dating, and the house was always like spotless. And I'd be like, oh, who's your cleaning lady? And he'd be like, I don't have one. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, who's cleaning your house then? And he's like, I am. And I'm like, I understand you're trying to impress me, right? Trying to look like the guy that can do it all. But like, seriously, like, who's cleaning your house? He's like, no, really, like, I gotta clean my house. And I'm just like, what? So I would literally like try to like show up a little bit early and be like, where is she?
Catch him.
Yeah. She just left. I saw her bucket. She's cleaning, right? No, y'all. Like, I had to make him hire a cleaning lady when I moved in, because I'm like, I'm not cleaning. I'm not cleaning. I don't have time for this. Like, I'm too busy. And honestly, you're too busy too. Right? Like, you're too busy for this. But yeah, I was like, there's no way. I was like, he's trying to impress me. He's lying. He's totally lying.
For sure. I definitely never had to worry about that with Nick. Ever.
Line 4 guy.
Still to this day, we've been together for 10 years, and I've never questioned
who cleaned the
that
house.
Ever. It just wouldn't be. But he is definitely supportive of leverage. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, even when we first started dating, before he even moved in with me, like, I had someone that would come monthly, just as I was a single mom, juggling a job and all the things. And like, I don't want to clean baseboards and ceiling fans and shit like that. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to waste what time I do have on that. And so I did have like a monthly person. So he's like, you should have her come weekly. I'm like, whoa, weekly? Are you kidding me? And so then over time, I'm like, actually, you're right. Now, selfishly for Nick, he's like, it's because like, I don't want you cleaning when like we could be spending time together, because his, you know, we talked about love languages a little, like he is a quality time person. Mm-hmm. Like that will fill his bucket faster than anything. I mean, physical touch too, but I'm not talking about that. So we'll work with what, you know, we'll fill the bucket with the quality time. Yeah. But, you know, that's it. Like, just leveraging out things, which I love that he is supportive of that. And he'll be like, no, why, you know, here's the thing. This all equates. Like, Nick's mind, that's how it works. Like, if you're doing this, this equates to XYZ that could be done. So you could be more present or whatever, which is great. And I very much appreciate, because again, it just juggling every day and all of these things is a lot of the time. So I will say having the support on that helps, because then again, we're not falling in the frustrations category, or try not to, or when I am, he's like, well, whoa, take a step back, look at it, and which sometimes pisses me off. Like, it's a mindset. And I'm like, okay, stop. So, it's the give and take there, but it's nice because, he's not cleaning anything ever. The dishes, he'll do that, but that's about it. So,
hey,
I'll take it. It's a win. I'll take it. You know, that's fine. So, I mean, I think a good segue would be here, what for all of us, right? What's the upside? Which I just can count a million things of the upside of being with someone that is, again, even though sometimes, his mind is constantly working and you're like, what do you, like, where are you right now? And he's like, hold on, I gotta, I'm XYZ, whatever. Being with someone that is so driven and so passionate about what they're building and what he wants to provide, and to be able to create a platform for, and then also the people that he wants to impact, right? Like the guys have people that are investing in these deals with them, and Nick takes that so seriously, which I love, because he should.
Right.
But also, if people are trusting you with something, especially their money, you got to turn it around for him. You got to show him that was the right thing to do, whatever. He takes that stuff to heart, and I love that. It's not just like, well, sorry, we didn't make money right now. No, it's not an option, and I love that. So, I mean, I think really the upside is just, it drives all of us too. It makes me better. Certainly, I'm like, well, I guess I can't sit on my ass right now.
Right.
Better be doing something. But it just makes me want to do more, do better. Yeah. It pushes me forward. It shows our kids the value of hard work, and that it's not just handed to them. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. To the legacy, but to the point of again, we have a 17-year-old who, loves all the finer things, which she has learned she has to work for herself, and she earns and spends her own money for the most part. Sometimes she accidentally puts my card in, but we're working on it. But for the most part, she's seeing what Nick does every day. And I am so beyond thankful for that, for her to see that, listen, build it up, and put yourself in this position, and do something. Don't just talk about it. Just do it.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Do you think any of the kids will be in real estate?
She wants to be.
Really?
This girl has, I actually have pictures of her, because when Nick and I first started dating, she was about 5. And I have pictures of her at his old office and under the real estate signs, or we've gone to pick up a sign once. She's pointing at their faces and whatever. And she actually loves real estate. Even when we bought our house together, she'd come home from school and she'd be like, did we get the contract? Oh, we're like, whoa. And it was at a time in the market where we lost out on 10 houses. It was real frustrating. And so for Nick, as an investor, we overpaid at the time. And he's like, I can't fucking believe this. We got to be in the right school.
You win some, you lose
some.
some.
Sorry. Yeah. Welcome to having kids. I got to do it. And she was so involved in the process. She would come home, she was almost stressing about it. And we're like, okay, hey,
breathe.
We'll tell you.
Right.
I promise you, I will loop you in on every bit of this. Aww. And it's cool. She really actually enjoys real estate. And she's 17, so we're doing college tours, we're doing all these things, and her plan is real estate. I'm like, go get your business degree, because I would love for you to come run all these things, and I can take a step back. That'd be great. So but no, she very much wants involvement in the real estate realm of things.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
They're just role models for the kids and stuff. I mean, definitely. Even for our dog. I can honestly say, even for our dog. There's a picture that I captured a few years ago. Brian's just standing in the living room, just kind of arms crossed. He's watching TV, and Handsome is just looking up at him, and it's the cutest little photo. And I captioned it, and it was when I grow up, I want to be like my dad, because I feel like these men are just inspirations, and they're role models for our present children and possibly maybe future children.
Don't put that on me.
But I mean, I think with that, I know we can go on for hours talking about how great these guys are, but with that, I think that we can all agree that we have some pretty great men in our lives that thank you guys, all of you, really, for working as hard as you do for us and to provide for our families. And You're very much
even when I
appreciated.
bitch about you not being present at dinner time or whatever, or being on your phone, I still do appreciate it.
yeah.
So
We're very grateful for you guys. We love you very much. So thank you guys for all that you do. And with that, I think that's a wrap.
that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Got anything to add? I think that's it.
That's it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having us and letting us sit in your spots. Hopefully we did you guys some justice.
I think we did. I mean, I like this chair.
All right.
Maybe I'll hang out
Pretty
here.
comfy.
But all right, well, that's a wrap on episode 34.
Yeah. More Door Podcast out.